There's about 160 million pieces of land in the US. Then you look at how many of those are on market at any given time. That figure is about 1.25% of all those parcels. Everyone involved in real estate development, home building, all this stuff is kind of living and dying and fighting over the same crumbs, which is this 1.5% of what's on the market. What's going on with the other 98.5% of land that's out there? Well, if you're a major developer, if you're a major home builder, you're brute forcing it. You have a team of highly compensated analysts and acquisition professionals. They tend to bang their head against the wall on the county website and brute force this analysis, hours per parcel.
Hi, Adam Gower here, founder of GowerCrowd.com and host of this podcast YouTube series, AI in Real Estate. Today is another Demo Day episode where I am speaking to Oliver Alexander, who is founder and CEO of Prophetic Software.ai. Now, the problem that Prophetic solves is the problem of finding land in a quick and efficient way that you might want to develop. It is an incredibly laborious and tedious process. And what Prophetic does is expedite what normally takes weeks and multiple analysts into literally minutes. If you are listening to this podcast, and I do mention this during the show, it is definitely worth watching this by video. And there are two places that you can do that. One is to go to GowerCrowd.com and look for the show notes page under the podcast menu item. The video is on there. Or you can go to YouTube and watch it on the Gower Crowd YouTube channel. While you are at the Gower Crowd website, though, if you've not already subscribed to my newsletter, please go ahead and do so. You'll get notification of these podcasts and narrative summaries of them as soon as they come out. You can always unsubscribe. And we also provide insights and tools, tactics, techniques, and methods of applying AI to your real estate business that will help you compete in an increasingly competitive environment. All there at GowerCrowd.com. Okay, without further ado, let's meet Oliver Alexander, founder and CEO of Prophetic Software.ai, coming right up. Oliver, super nice to see you. Thanks so much. I am really looking forward to seeing this presentation, this demo from you today. But let's start at the very top. Tell me who you are, what is your company, and what do you do? What does the website do?
Well, thanks so much, Adam. Yeah, really been looking forward to it myself, and appreciate you having me on today. It's going to be a great discussion. So at a really high level view, we are Prophetic, and what Prophetic is AI native SaaS for real estate developers, home builders, brokers, anyone involved really with ground up development. And we help them grow. Well, how the heck do you do that? We help you find your next site to acquire and do your project on. We automate the analysis so you can take a hours and hours long process, compress it into a couple minutes, and then we keep you organized and help you win more deals with our LRM. The CRM is for people, LRM is for land. So that's Prophetic, helping you grow through those techniques.
Okay, and it's for land, isn't it?
That's right. It's the most powerful solution ever developed for discovering and acquiring land, and automates a key piece of the process for real estate development, which is, as you well know, one of the largest asset classes in the world. Yet this land piece has really been in the Stone Age for decades.
Who is your ideal client or customer, the avatar?
Yeah, it's generally a home builder who's doing several dozen homes per year as the minimum threshold. However, we have clients across the country doing all kinds of things. We have folks who are major nationals doing thousands and thousands of homes a year. We have brokers who just operate in a couple counties, and we have non-real estate developers like an economic development agency as well. So really anyone who is directly involved or benefits from more real estate development growth in that sector, automating processes to expedite it, tends to be in market for us.
So is it single family homes only or apartments as well? Any kind of residential or any kind of asset class?
Well, you've hit it on the head there. It's any kind of asset class that the platform supports. So we have a client in California who uses the system for industrial outdoor storage and has just been cleaning up. They've been finding sites upright, left, and down across all of California and Phoenix. We have clients doing multifamily. We have clients doing small infill stuff, not subdivisions. So you name it, the platform provides value. Although I will say there's a couple pieces of functionality that just are for residential subdivision builders.
And it surfaces off-market land, right? Just kind of dive into that a little bit more, if you would.
Yeah, it when you look at real estate development in the United States and real estate as a whole, there's about 160 million pieces of land in the US. Then you look at how many of those are on market at any given time. That figure is about 1.25, 1.5% of all those parcels. So everyone involved in real estate development, home building, all this stuff is kind of living and dying and fighting over the same crumbs, which is this 1.5% of what's on the market. So what's going on with the other 98.5% of land that's out there? Well, if you're a major developer, if you're a major home builder, you're brute forcing it. You have a team of highly compensated analysts and acquisition professionals. They tend to bang their head against the wall on the county website and brute force this analysis, hours per parcel, and they get results because they have the capital to make that happen. Now, if you're a broker, you just don't have the expertise of, is this parcel good for, let's say, multifamily? How many units can I get on it? What's the owner's phone number? All those pieces take so much time and energy. When a client calls you and says, "Hey, I need a site like this," you can't find them off market efficiently. You certainly can't analyze them efficiently. So there's just this huge gap between information on parcels that are on market, of which there's so few, versus the swath of unknown out there and being able to conquer that and crawl that information and assess those parcels effectively.
Okay, so you've touched on it a little bit, but how are people solving this problem today? Just kind of describe what the workflow looks like that you're solving.
Today, it really works as a couple techniques. A lot of our clients are moving over from a legacy solution that's been in the market 20, 30 years. And unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for us, that solution sold to private equity several years ago and just stopped updating. And so,
Hmm.
as much as it became kind of an industry standard, a lot of folks have fled or just gone back to using the county website because it's just not that good anymore. And on the flip side of the coin, if you're not using a legacy solution, you're using the county website in combination with about 20 other different sources or more, depending on where you operate. And you're just piecemealing it together bit by bit by bit with the end result of 10, 50, 200 at most parcels analyzed per month that are off market.
Okay, so what changes immediately for a user when they come on the Prophetic website?
Well, I'll give you an example first of everyone's first day at Prophetic.
Yeah.
Um, this is a bit masochistic, perhaps, but the first thing we do, they go through their hour long, welcome to the company, here's our values, all those things. Then they're
Ah,
given 3 addresses randomly across the country. And beyond that, we say, answer these 9 or 10 questions for these 3 addresses. What municipality is it in? Can I build residential there? Is there a super fund on the site? Wetlands, kind of simple things that need to be checked off your list very quickly if you operate in this world. Our new employees, whether they're a PhD level engineer, which we have a lot of folks on that team, all the way down to entry level, all tend to average about 3 hours to complete this task of analyzing 3 parcels at a very surface level. That's how it works now. And when we get into prophetic, they do all 3 in about 6 minutes. So the difference is pretty substantial in terms of just the time and efficiency savings. But you have to remember that the county website is built for public data retrieval on a per project or per parcel basis, I should say. So if I put in my address or APN, I can get my tax information back. That's what it's built for. It is
hmm.
not built for real estate developers doing off-market prospecting. It is not built to scour every piece of land in my county or my city or my state that has specific characteristics that I may be able to then acquire and then develop. So you have to remember that the best source of information they have that's free and available is built for this use case, and they're trying to shove that square peg in a round hole for this use case. And so that's how it works today for most folks, and it is grossly inefficient to the tune of hours per parcel that you need to really assess.
All right, let's move on to the demo. But before I do that, a development company owner or CEO, what is how do you describe the primary benefits to them?
It's really quite simple. Can you acquire more land and get more units built with this technology? And the answer is yes. Now that we've been in the market a few years, we have the results, we have the case studies from our customers who've been able to deploy the technology and find hidden gems. A few examples of this, and every executive we chat with wants to know, hey, Oliver, yeah, I get it. It's efficient. I get it. My team is going to be saving so much time
Mm,
and energy, but does it actually accomplish what you're saying in terms of growth? Can I buy more land? Not just find it, not just analyze it, but close on it, win more. So we actually track this internally and we call it our holy grail metric. If you're able to discover it through a search in Prophetic, we track that and you can save it. And when you move it to a closed purchase status, that's what we really celebrate with our clients and say, hey, look, we took this on this date from discovery all the way through to closed. That's what matters. That's one you had no clue existed. And look, now it's an asset in your portfolio that's going to turn into 200 homes. So that's what we tend to talk about most with the executive crowd.
okay, I did say I had one last question, and like Columbo, I don't know if you remember that show. He always had another question.
Sure, bring them
Right,
on.
but we were going to think. But so this actually I forgot to ask you before we started. So if you don't want to answer these, that's totally fine. All right, seriously.
Ah,
I'm serious. But so how are you guys financed? Are you VC backed? Are you bootstrapped? Are you profitable? Like how are you financed?
Yeah, it's a great question. When I was getting Prophetic off the ground about 4 years ago, this is
Mm,
actually the third company I've started. And the reason I started it is because while building my first one, which is a chain of medical clinics, started that when I was 21. Now we have 6 locations today. I dealt with this problem daily and I was so sick of dealing with it. Second company was high-end co-working, yet again ran into this problem trying to find a site to
mm,
build it on. And then Prophetic came back to solve that. And so I bootstrapped it myself for the first year and a half or so. And then we went out and raised $3 million from VCs, over a year ago now. And then we hit profitability extremely quickly just because we're able to provide so much value to our clients and grow so quickly, hire more teammates, and the cycle continues. So it's a pretty great position to be in. But that being said, we are hiring as fast as we can. If you are a full stack engineer, senior research engineer, please call us. We got jobs for you.
all right. And any headline clients, any clients that everybody would know about that you can share that kind of lend even more credibility to your story?
Yeah, we work with some of the largest home builders in the country. MI Homes is one of them. Um, we have several others that you can Google our name and check out in the Google search results, but those are pretty limited to discussing in that specific context. So can't talk about it here, but do some Googling and can take it from there.
Does anyone Google anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, Clauded, I suppose.
Clod it.
Not quite as elegant.
All right, Oliver, let's go to the main event and let's take a look at this. Go ahead and screen share. And as Oliver opens up his screen here, I will say that this is a live recorded demo, so it's definitely better on screen. Go to gowercrowd.com, find the show notes page. You can watch the video there, or you can find it on YouTube. But Oliver is going to describe what we're seeing as well as we go through this for those of you who are listening. And I'll try and
Absolutely.
jump in occasionally in case something missed. All right, over to you. Take the wheel. What are we looking at? We're looking at a map of the United States to start with.
That's right. We really built Prophetic to be as intuitive as humanly possible. And we have two design rules that we use. One is, can we minimize the number of clicks and make this just ultra simple? And two, does it pass the Oliver's mom test? Can Oliver's mom log in and use it today and figure out how to do that thing? If the answer is yes to those, it tends to get pushed to production. So
Right?
we start with a map-based interface. And I'm going to go pick on Portland because that's where our headquarters is at. And we're going to go outside of town a little bit here and find a site that might be good for development. So when we zoom into the map here, if we get towards this area, you can start to see we go from big subdivisions down to some larger parcels. Well, I can click one of these sites and learn a lot more about it with what we call the quick view menu on the right-hand side. And you have to remember that I'm not a real estate developer or home builder or outdoor storage developer, that type of thing. Everything in this platform is there because our customers have said, I want that data. It should look like this. I want it to be this type of information quickly
Mm,
accessible. And so, really, the entire platform is a result of just listening and building what our customers ask for. So, that quick view menu, start off, yeah, I can jump to Street View. I can save the parcel to a project. I can share it with my team. But from there, we're going to go into the address, APN, who owns it, how big is the site, how long have they owned it. If there
mm,
is a structure, when was it built, how big is it? Then we start doing some math and we say, okay, 96% of the area of this parcel is uncovered by structures. And then we measure the dimensions for you of it as well. Moving down here, we're going to come back to all this stuff in terms of the
perfect.
transaction history and the affiliated properties, owner's contact info. Down here, we get into the zoning details. Now, how familiar are you with zoning and how all that stuff works, Adam? Or
Unfortunately, I know zoning extremely well,
I'm
but
so sorry to hear that.
but go ahead anyway. Yeah,
It
assume I know
is.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just so difficult. Every single
Mm,
municipality in the United States, save for a few places like Houston and some unincorporated counties, has their own zoning. Every single municipality with their own zoning has a 200 to 2,000 plus page manual that details what you can build, where you can build, how tall, floor area ratio, all this stuff. And the problem is that they all use different dialect, they all use different formats, and they all use different names and codes, that type of thing. So for us to be able to click any parcel in the country and get this level of detail is just unfathomable to most people in the real estate world, but that's a key piece of what Prophetic is.
mm,
So we'll show you what that looks like visually in a sec. But right now it's R7 residential, subtype single family. Here's the zone code name, here's the municipal zone code link. And down here, this is what our team has built called Zone AI that rips out all the values from the zoning manuals and automates a key piece of the process in determining if a parcel is a yes, no, or maybe in terms of your acquisition criteria. So, minimum lot area. How small can I subdivide this parcel? If it is currently 2 acres or 90,000 square feet, I can actually cut it down to 7,000 square foot lots here. Great.
mm,
Then you'll notice I have exceptions. The AI said, hey, wait, there's other points to this rule. We can't just say it's one rule. So I drop it down and I see, oh, it's actually 1,500 square feet for townhome lots. That's really, really dense. That's good. I can get a lot of units on there.
mhm.
Exception two says, oh, actually, middle housing land division, I might be able to get an exception to the minimum lot area standards. Interesting. I should read up on that. And then duplex or townhouse development child lots may be able to break that rule as well.
Right.
So this is the piece Zone AI is analyzing in every zone, every municipality, and giving to our customers in a single click, right? We go back to the minimum click rule, we click the parcel, everything is available here, but we can't forget these two pieces. The explanation, here's where that information comes from, and the citation saying you can go verify that anytime. Go to page 52, and this is the key piece as well, and page 245. The reason this is so important is because, as we all know, AI can hallucinate. It'll say just as confidently, Adam, you can do 8,000 square foot lots here.
Hmm.
And you say, okay, I guess I'm spending 2 million bucks and buying this land. That's not good enough. That's a huge, huge problem if we have an incorrect result. So we spent over a year developing Zone AI to be extremely precise, to get the value out of there, explain its reasoning, and then through a multi-agent approach, it checks it and cites its source.
Let me ask you a couple questions here. If I was a multifamily developer,
Mhm.
and we'll get into a little bit more detail off recording afterwards, specifically about why I want to drill down on this. Um, how 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 do I interpret this information actually? So this works for multifamily as well. So I would still look at all this zoning, and this is all about duplex or townhouse, etc. But it has density, and I can for a multifamily shop. How would they look at this?
Yeah, so multifamily is going to be much more concerned with my density requirements. So
Mm,
maximum density, 6.25 dwelling units per net acre. But before we even care about that or the exceptions, which can be up to 25 for townhomes, Down
Mm,
here, this is what I really care about are my residential land uses. Portland's a little different in that they bucket everything under household living. So that could be apartments, that can be townhomes, there can be a lot of stuff in there. But most municipalities will say single family detached apartments, common wall dwellings. And so you can
mm,
see exactly the type of residential allowed. And then the land uses section below, again, pulls all those permitted conditional and accessory uses out of the manual and
mm.
categorizes them for easy retrieval.
That was interesting. I actually had under the all button there. It was a quick flash. It said cell towers.
Mhm.
There's actually two things you can put here: residential or cell towers. Is that right? Is that how am I reading that right?
That's right. So this is, we'll go into Search AI in a moment, and you can
Mm.
actually do pretty much anything in terms of, I want to build this thing. The cell tower is one we just custom built for a client.
Ah.
It's kind of a side note, but look at that. Conditionally, you can put a telecommunications facility on this site.
Mm. Okay.
Um,
And one last question on this then. You picked one site randomly, but when I look at this, I see, a lot of these lots appear to be already developed. So how are you identifying lots that have development potential?
Great question. We're going to go and do a search right after this using our Search AI technology,
Okay.
and we'll go through that. We'll jump to a whole different state and run through it.
Okay.
Last thing I want to touch on here is just the depth of all the zoning rules that are available. We talked about density and lot size. Great. What about lot width? 60 feet or all these exceptions. What about my setbacks? All available. My maximum height, my maximum coverage,
Mm.
all these things that you're normally going to spend hours analyzing or paying an engineer to do for you, done at scale anywhere. Even things like ADU requirements, all listed out here below, and we can see that they can't be bigger than half of the total square footage of the primary dwelling. So it's just remarkable how much insight is available. But back to the map. And then the other thing too, I remember we got so much flack from this when we were first entering the market. So many people would comment and say, oh, good luck. That info changes, right? Well, yeah, of course it does. And so this is a key piece of the puzzle where we have to go back every quarter and check and say, did the zoning map change? Did the manual change? If so, let's push those updates or catch what's coming and push those as well.
Okay. All right. I'm going to
So
let you continue. Yep.
let's go to another place and go run a search real quick. We like Charlotte. There's a ton going on over there in terms of development. So I'll turn on my zoning map so you can get a feel for just the scale of this, right? So
Hmm.
again, every city and county has their own zoning map. This is a hodgepodge of, call it 100 municipalities. Add in counties, there's another 10 right there. And we're just going to search across all of them at once for a specific type of project we want to build. So I
Ah,
click Search
perfect.
AI. And I'm going to do a polygon search. This is the most powerful one. So let's just draw it. And now you might be wondering, well, where should I be searching? Like, I don't know Charlotte that well, or I know Charlotte's the market my boss has told me to build in, but like what part? Well, you can start to quantify some of that stuff and say, okay, let's look at demographics. I'm going to flick that on and then hover over and see, okay, my age range here is on the older end. The household number is growing significantly. And look at my incomes. Average is 176,000 a year. Great. If I'm trying to build a higher end residential product or, a mixed use shopping center, it's probably a pretty good place to do that.
Mm.
And so the demographics layer can really help resolve where to look, as can the Zestimates layer, which can show you the average home values in that zip code. And then one of the most fun pieces, DevMap. This shows you where all the new developments are happening in that market, but we're going to come
Mm.
back to that.
Mm.
So what do you want to go find? What do you want to build, Adam? Do you want to do a residential subdivision, multifamily, cell
Yeah,
towers?
so actually, that's exactly where I was going to go. My next question was presumably I can enter criteria.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and say, and I would like to, if you don't mind, I know you've been focusing on single family, but I would like to talk
Sure.
about multifamily. So let's say I want to build multifamily, class A multifamily, no less than 100 units.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and assume we want to build, from this river all the way down into South Carolina a little bit through Weddington back to Indian Trail and over up to Cotswold as kind of our prime area.
Hmm.
Again, that's through what, 20, 30 munis. We're crossing state lines, crossing several counties.
Mm.
Next, step two says, hey, this is where you just click what you want to build. I want to build residential, multifamily 5+ units, and I'm interested in doing any of these. So
Okay.
5 to 50 units, 150 plus, or 50 to 150. Great. Alternatively, just for other examples, I can do
Mhm.
senior living. This is huge, as you can imagine,
Really?
a lot of these developments going in. And I can do things like healthcare. Show me where I should build a new freestanding ER or a specialty hospital. Show me where I can do a new data center. So all those permitted and conditional uses across the United States have been boiled down into a single click filter using Search AI.
Hmm.
One of the most fascinating things to me, I was just speaking at the Urban Land Institute in Raleigh a couple weeks ago,
Mm.
and the numbers are just so staggering. Think of how many ways you can describe single family detached. Okay, household living, we saw that in Portland. Single family detached,
Right.
residential, common wall
Mm.
dwelling. There's all these different ones. You think, okay, there's probably call it 500 ways I can describe this. It's
Mm.
about a little over 9,000. Yeah.
Good grief.
So that's why normal technology or
Mm.
pre-AI has never been able to solve this, because you can't just
Mm.
look for single family detached or residential. It has to understand the context of the other descriptors and then bucket it as in or out of that category. Um, Best example I've ever heard, um, single family, comma, houseboat when developed in combination with a marina.
You see.
It's like, okay, that's not really what I'm looking for, but great. Um, Okay, we're talking multifamily here. How big do you want your site to be, like a min and max range?
Oh, I don't know. Uh, 20,000 square feet. I don't know. Pick a
Okay,
number. Yeah.
we'll do half acre to
Yeah.
5 acres.
Yeah.
And then non-covered area, this is really crucial. To your point earlier, how do you know if the
Mm.
site's developable or not? This
Right.
is how. So I like to set a 90% threshold for this,
Mm.
because if there is a home on there, that's fine. I'll cut that home off the lot and sell that separately. But I want it to be largely untapped. And so I'll set a 90% threshold. I don't want a ton of wetlands and flood zones. I'm going to cap this at, call it 30% for each.
Mm. Okay.
And then step 4, I can go through a lot of really granular filters. Does it have foreclosure issues in the last 12 months? You would not believe how many high potential development sites are about to go back to the bank. And you can see all of them
Really?
in here.
Well, so definitely click that.
Well, let's come back to this one.
Okay,
Our
sure.
criteria is fairly refined. We might only get a couple listings
Got
here.
it. Okay, sure.
And then finally, the current land use one and MLS, really helpful to understand. This is like the magic filter if you
Mm.
live in a very dense, no good land left type of area, right? Think San Jose, think LA.
Mm.
Um, we have clients using this out there who are buying dirt left and right because it'll find sites that are currently in old office, industrial, whatever, but that are conditionally allowed for townhomes, and it'll do that search automatically. Okay.
Definitely.
Let's run our search. This could take a couple seconds. This is a pretty hefty one, but right away,
Okay.
371 results. And you can go crazy and go pin by pin on the map, but most of the time, not really worth it. The search results list here has been honed
Mm.
to really give quality results out of the gate. So if I look at this parcel, I have 0.79 acres. It's owned by this LLC since 2025. They're probably not going to sell it anytime soon. This one is
Mm.
individual owned with 2021. And look at that. What am I allowed to do? Multi-dwelling development. View all my land uses. That is residential. Single family dwelling is permitted, and conditionally, I can do that multifamily development unit here. And so when I keep going down the list, the same thing appears, and I can see that even though some of these are in Charlotte, let's just keep going. There's one in I don't know how to pronounce that, but also comes back.
Unincorporated. I'm guessing that means unincorporated.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm
Unincorporated.
just wild guess there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Mm.
But as we go through the different municipalities, you can see that it still pulls results across the board, and you can
Okay,
see
so
this one's.
somebody gets this. What's their next step then?
Usually what you're going to do is jump to the parcel and you're going to start taking a deeper look at a preferred site. So jump
Mm.
to the property, the map's going to zoom it for you. And we can see here it's maybe has an existing structure, but let's turn on our satellite, which is last shot in March. So we're talking last month. And this is the beauty of it. See that without the satellite, it looks like there's a structure. The
Mm,
satellite is very up to date. It says, actually, that was demolished. There's nothing there anymore.
hmm
So now I have a 2 acre site with residential. Conditionally, I can do multifamily developments here. So now I'm really interested in this site. I'm wondering what are the problems with it? Is it any good? So let's check wetlands.
mm,
Oh, yeah, a little bit, not too bad. Let's check our topo. This is 3 foot resolution. Not terrible. I mean, it's not flat, but it's really not
mm,
too bad.
hmm
Let's check our school areas. High school is going to feed into ooh, nice. It's in a yellow. That means a B or better. And
Okay.
then I'm going to check for major power lines. No, I got one down here, but nothing on the site itself. What about flood zone? I do have a bit more flood zone, so I'm going to do some dirt work or just lose some of my site to that. That's fine. And then endangered species, nothing. Superfund and brownfield, thankfully nothing there either. So this is a pretty solid site, frankly. I
Mm,
got 2 acres. There's not a lot of issues. Call it a half-acre loss to environmental issues. And it's right off the road. I'm next to, looks like a major multifamily site or something like that. And I
mm.
can click all property info, and now I can really take a deep dive on it. So this is where we really throw the book at you. Here's everything we can find related to this site. So one, I'm going to just pierce this LLC and give them a call. Let's just see who's behind this. So skip trace it. Looks like I'm calling Mr. Profit. That's
God, that's incredible.
kind of a fun name given our goals
Boy,
of making a
that
profit.
business is in, yeah.
Yeah. And then it ranks all the.
I just realized that's right.
I think that's a good sign. We got to go make a profit call.
It's a winner. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the emails as well. But as we go down the page here, you'll see some tax
Wow.
information. You'll see assessed values. You'll see this is really where it gets fascinating. Look at this. This guy owns 21 properties across the state.
Mm, mhm.
Here's all of them. And check that out. This is where you get such rapid results. The owner name, he parks them under all these LLCs, right? Providence Road Out Parcels,
Mhm.
ACC,
Right.
and there, that one he's got under his own name. That's probably his house.
Mm.
Caraway Storage. And all these, you can see the zone is here. You can see the lot area. You can see what he buys, right? Half to 10, 15 acre sites that
Mm.
are all in North Carolina. So this guy
And can
is,
you see if he's submitted plans for this thing already? Maybe he's already planning on building.
let's go check building permits. I don't have anything on file for it. I don't have any notable legal documents on
Sure.
file either. And we don't have a ton of transaction history from the county on it, but there's also no financing on it. So he bought this with cash. And all good signs here. And remember that little house we saw on like the old map that we turn on
Mm.
satellite and it was gone? He's
hmm
probably buying this as a land play, right?
hmm
So with this much in terms of assets, this guy's got his number.
Mm.
Cut him a check, see if you can buy it. Otherwise, you move on and you keep working through your list. But one of the most fun things that Prophetic offers is the ability to go beyond just sending a letter and a phone call.
Okay.
Um, I don't know about you, but I don't answer my phone hardly at all anymore.
No, I don't. Yeah.
There's too many people who know how to get a hold of you,
Too many
and
distractions. I agree.
yeah, and emails, a random email from Adam. Okay, you I might respond to, but for someone saying, "Hey, I want to buy your land," I'm like, yeah, this could be a scam. I don't really know.
Right.
So you got to get a little more creative so you can send them a physical letter in the mail.
Really?
This is so slick. And I don't say that to promote us. I say it to promote the vendor we work with. You can take a card, choose your font. These are real human handwriting fonts. And then the system actually goes and writes the letter according to your template here. So you'll notice saying, "Hey, Providence Road Out Parcels LLC." They're not going to respond to that. Change its name.
Right.
It's Stuart, right? Hey, Stuart.
hmm
Hope you're well. I'm Oliver. My team and I build quality homes in Charlotte. We'd like to discuss purchasing this address. We make you a cash offer right away. Here's my phone number. You'll notice the zeros are different, the nines are different. It's real human writing and it's not printed. There's a warehouse full of robotic arms that hold
You're
an ink
kidding.
pen and write these damn cards.
God, really?
Yeah. So
That is incredible.
so
Wow.
knowing who it is, I'm going to change my recipient to Stuart Profit. I think that's how we
hmm
spelled it.
hmm
That's his address. That's my return. If I click order, that is physically in the mail in his inbox in 5 days.
What kind of okay, so you gotta let me ask this question. What kind of response rate are your subscribers finding as a result of these handwritten letters relative
Yeah,
to picking up the phone or sending an email? Any feedback?
great question. We just did a case study with this with our client, Polish Homes out of the Pacific Northwest. I think they do 600 homes a year. They were the most skeptical. They're like, okay, handwritten letter, I'm sure that'll work well. But you have to remember, it's not a postcard. It is a normal looking little birthday card style envelope. And the font is the same on the outside of the envelope, and it has a normal little postage stamp on it. And it's the same font in that ink. So their response rate was about a half to 1% in terms of off market. Send out 100 letters, you get one back because no one wants your shitty form letter, right? It's all printed and fancy, it's spam, it goes in one hand, out the other. But when you get a custom handwritten card, I'm at least opening that and I'm going to see what's in there. And their response rate went up to about 12%.
Wow.
Yeah. But what's fascinating, not
Wow.
all the people responding wanted to sell. In fact, a lot of them said no. But that's fine. Everyone knows in real estate, this is a long-term game.
Yeah.
So now you can send them a card every 6 months and say, hey, thinking about you. Hope you're well. Oh, how's your daughter again? All these different things and build that relationship over time so that when they do want to sell 3, 5 years down, they're calling you because you've been sending them cards.
And so you have a CRM in here as well, right? Like a database that will show all contact that you made, or is that something separate that customers need to be managing?
It's all built in. We actually trademarked the word LRM for this specific use case
Yeah, you did
because
use
so
that.
many, yeah, our customers, we never really thought we'd be building this, but so many customers have demanded, look, it's saving a project. I need it to do this. I need it to link to my calendar. Okay, great. Let's get to work. So all we do is save to project, create new
Hmm.
project. It names it the address. I can override that, create, and now I have it as a project here. And the
Land
color changed.
relationship management, right? That's what the LRM stands for. Yeah.
That's right.
Hmm.
So let's
Wow.
refresh everything and just assume I come in tomorrow with a blank slate. Okay,
Hmm.
I was looking in Charlotte. Where the heck was that thing I saved? Well, I go to my projects
Hmm.
and I see it right here, one click, and it jumps me to the site. I can
Hmm.
tag it and say, hey, this one had wetlands issues.
Wow.
It's also, Charlotte area, whatever tags you want to do. And then coming down here, I can put in how many units I want to get in there. I can put in the purchase price. All this information that currently, I mean, you would not believe, Adam, how this stuff works right now. Your major multi-billion dollar public, your divisions are doing this in Excel and they're doing it in their head. And so what this solves is not only just being organized and knowing what's going on, but the moment that landowner finally calls you back, finally sends you a letter, you got to be ready to go because that handwritten card infers that you're intimately aware of their parcel and you really want it and you know it well. When you call me back and say, "Hey, this is Adam, I might be ready to sell, like let's talk." And I say, "Sorry, who? What parcel?"
Hmm.
Click, I'm on to the next person. That guy was not real. And so being able to rapidly retrieve all this information
Yeah.
is a key part of the LRM system and just helping you win more deals. So all this information, all these fields I can put in. This part, I set tasks. Let me follow up with this guy in 6 months. Let me send a bottle of whiskey in a year. All those things are in here. I can assign them to my teammates, can upload files and documents, and then can even take notes as well. So this is how you do a project, and then all your projects live in your
Hmm.
pipeline, which is your dashboard of everything you're working on.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm not. So actually, these things they're going so fast as usual. I mean, I could just watch this for hours, actually. But let me ask you on another question. In terms of setting the criteria, to what extent how granular can I get with that criteria? So, for example, 100-unit apartment building, uh, but can I overlay demographics? Can I, as far as the criteria that I put, and then, draw a much bigger map, right? So I might want I might want to see the Charlotte metropolitan area, for example, anything in that area
Sure.
that fits my criteria, but here's what they are. It's going to be high income, whatever they are. To what extent can I get granular on that with you?
You can get fairly granular right now. Like, you can go to step 4 and see some of the more advanced stuff. You can see like what the home is worth or the lot width and depth, how loud the site is.
Hmm.
But really, we tend to just build filters upon request from clients. So we
I
don't
see.
have a ton of folks asking for, hey, can I filter based off income? Usually they know the exact part of town that's their
That
money
they want to
area.
be. Hmm.
So what we can do though is a lot of these like out of state ownership, exclude protected federal areas. Those are all just from customers asking for it.
Ah.
So we build those pretty quick. But all these
Hmm.
dots on the map, these are all my saved projects across the country. So if I zoom out, you can see I
Hmm.
do quite a lot of saving. Um, but we'll turn
Hmm.
this one off for now. And then let's go through some of our map layers. Perhaps we'll pop
Hmm.
down to Florida for this one.
Okay.
So we have the Orlando area, and we did cities and counties earlier, fair enough, but let's look at zoning. Here's everything. All cities, all counties in one place, and you can just go and go and go.
Hmm.
And then beyond that, a lot of folks will say, yeah, zoning's all cool and dandy, but I rezone everything. It doesn't really matter what it is today, just what can I do with it? So that's when we put in all of our state specific layers. So I can just say, okay, drop down Florida, future land use maps. Done. There they are. What about water management district permits for consumptive use permits? There they are. All this stuff, again, I couldn't even tell you what a consumptive use permit is in Florida, but a user said that it's critical for them. They sent us a GIS link and we put it in for them.
Hmm.
We can also go, this is one of, I love this one. Where are the eagles' nests?
Really?
There's the nest ID. Just remarkable. But again, if it's relevant to our users and guiding their decision process, it's relevant to us. Um, and then beyond that, we can go through most of these layers I think we've already done here. But one that I want to show off is DevMap. The problem we're solving with this one
Hmm.
is when I find a site, I do search AI, I pull up a bunch of great sites. I run Zone AI, I can tell what I can do with it 30 seconds in. Those answer the can I question. That does not answer the should you question. So DevMap is the
Hmm.
first ever complete United States map of every new residential subdivision. When I say complete, I mean complete. Small town, large town, city, county, unincorporated, you name it. This tells you where every residential subdivision is at. And then when you zoom in, it splits them out per project, and I can jump in and click these to learn a lot more about them. In this case,
This is okay. So these are approved maps, are they?
these are projects that are at various points of construction. You can see most of these homes are
Ah,
flagging as built in 2025.
okay. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay.
And some of these are not yet built, which is why there's no
Hmm.
date. And I can flick my satellite and confirm that.
Hmm.
So what we found was it's we would have users out driving around in the county looking for sites that had trees getting removed, looking for sites that were going vertical. We said, that's really how you're doing your job right now. You're literally just driving around. And they
Hmm.
said, yep, I mean, what else can you do?
How else can you do it? Right.
Exactly. So we set to work with our data scientists and our AI engineers, and we said, we're doing this everywhere. We need everyone to know what's going on so you can make the right choice. And for folks in the industry, most will say, okay, there's a big project right here. I want to build across the street from it if this sold well. Or they say, oh, that did not sell well. I'm avoiding that whole entire area that I thought was good.
Hmm.
So this on the right-hand side is the per parcel, the per project analytics. And so I can see Normandy Pine townhomes, 113 units, 8-acre site overall. And my lots are 20 by 105s. It's all one type. My inventory, I have 2 active listings, 6 pending, and 55 closed. They're selling 3.1 a month. That is really quite good. 37 closed in the last year, and they're
Hmm.
taking about 120 days list to close. Outstanding. This is a very high performing development. Now, closing velocity says it's trending down a little bit, but as you can see, they're probably damn near sold out here. I mean, they're not even done building as of December, yet they've
Hmm.
already closed most of them. And then I can jump in my MLS detail and see what's for sale, pending, or sold with all the dates, the size, the price, you name it.
Those are ridiculous numbers, by the way. Somebody from California looking at this just weeps when you see
Yeah.
that kind of. sales price for a home? Is it less than a
156.
down payment round here?
Yeah, yeah, for
It
sure.
is. I'm serious. It's like half of what you need for a down payment.
Yeah, it's you wonder why there's so much development in Florida. It's because it's people can buy a home there,
Mm,
250,000, and you can buy a nice 3 bed, 2 bath. It's pretty remarkable.
mm,
Um,
mm.
and you can see they're all 3 bed, 2.5 bath here. If we go click on another project, let's go jump to somewhere much higher income, like DC area.
Mm.
Now we're going to see stuff change pretty stark. So
So
we
how
can
do
go and
people
jump.
use this then? How this particular component here? This is you're seeing what's existing, what's being developed.
Mhm.
This is to get a sense of like how do you use this then? I mean, you gave one example. Is it selling well? I'm going to buy the land opposite, right? But how else is this data used in the context
Gen
of the platform in general, which is to find land?
Yeah, exactly. So generally, when I'm considering a land purchase decision, I need to know two things. Is the
Uh,
market heating up or cooling down?
mm,
And is my competitor doing something I need to be aware of? Because if I
mm,
build 100 units and I didn't realize they're already progressing with 100 across the street, both of us putting 200 units online at the same time, we're both going to have a bad day. So I'd rather
mm.
choose my secondary option, which has no
See.
competition around it, and then
Mm.
have a better sell-through rate.
Mm. And you can also see future pipeline permits and applications for permits using Prophetic.
Yep. A good way to do that is you look for
Mm.
stuff that says 1 unit. Generally, these ones are ones that are not yet fully entitled. They don't have the parcel split out yet, but you can see
Mm.
K. Hovnanian is coming in here with a big project, satellite on, and sure enough, look at that.
Mm.
They're not even done with it, but we're waiting on the county to update records, yet we still caught it through one of our techniques.
Interesting. Wow. Mm.
So this is really, really helpful when you get in places like Texas, right?
Mm.
North of Dallas, you just have endless projects out here. And
Mm.
so when I'm
Mm.
considering, am I going to do another 400 units to the north of this one? I need to see how this one performed. I need to see
Right.
how the one up here performed.
Mm.
And then when you start looking at the different lot compositions and the different home sizes,
Mm.
this really gives you the intelligence to make fast
Okay, so
decisions.
just how would somebody do this? They would have to go to the county database, right? And it's just a pain. Like, how do they
Well,
do it currently?
right now, you're going to pull out your checkbook and you're going to go hire several analysts to go collect
Mm.
all this data and crunch it. Then you're going to go write another check to MLS and go buy a bunch of data. And
Mm.
then all that is going to take hours and hours, days and days, weeks and weeks, and you're going to start
Mm.
to compile this information. So it's not unusual for our clients to go from weeks to get to this level of just what's going on in the market to about an hour between clicking all these and extracting the information.
Mm.
So these are all fairly developed, right? They all have their unit counts, except these ones over here, there's a lot going on. This one's coming, this one's coming, this one's coming, that one there.
Hmm.
Lennar's got a big
Lots
one.
of them. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you want to show me? Any other? I have to tell you that, I mean, this is amazing.
Think so.
Really phenomenal. As a marketer, I have to tell you that that handwriting letter thing is really cool. Actually, I really like that thing. But are there any other wows in here that you want to share with us before we stop screen sharing and start wrapping up?
I've got one more for you. The
Mm.
question of how many units can I fit on that site?
Hmm.
This is one of the key pieces that you have to understand because I can't write an offer unless I know how many units can be fit there realistically. And that is a function of a million different things. So if I'm going
Mm.
to come buy a big chunk of land up in this area, let me turn on my parcels. And let's say I'm going to buy this one and I'm going to buy the one next to it and this
Hmm.
one. Now I got 245 acres I'd like to purchase. Well, how many units does that fit? Well, let's go to Site AI and we'll whip up a site plan in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So first off, it flags our environmental issues and says, hey, you got little riverines everywhere and you got some ponds and you need to be aware of those. So one, I can jump in here and say, is that correct? This is USGS data. Has it changed since they recorded that? Satellite on? Yep, sure enough, there's a pond, but it got a heck of a lot bigger. So I need to actually adjust this and make it much more closer to the real world. We won't do the whole thing today, but you get the idea. You can
Hmm.
edit the data to reflect what's actually going on.
Hmm.
And then you can also come in here and say, I walked the site and I talked to the county, that hasn't been there for 30 years. Delete that whole thing.
Mm.
And so I can come in here and find it and say, which one was that again? This one, gone.
Mhm.
Great. Now I don't have to worry about that. And then going to my next step, we're going
Mm.
to go fairly quick through here. And this is the topographic section. So if there's a really steep section, it can just cut it out and say don't build there.
Okay.
Next, step 4 says, hey, what is our zoning versus what do I want to build? Right
Mm.
now, it's zoned agricultural, and I could do 10-acre lots here. That's not going to work. I got to
Mm.
rezone this. So let's
So,
run that scenario.
mm. Uh, so,
Crucial.
so rezoning, that involves going to the county and local municipality and going through that brain damage.
Yep.
This is what it would show you, right?
It's absolutely brain damage.
Yeah.
So the goal of this is to say, when I'm sitting down with a landowner and I want to contact them and I have a parcel in Salina, Texas that might be
Mm.
really viable. The goal is to get it under contract and secure it before anyone else can. And so even if the municipality is going to say, no, we're not approving any rezones, I can still go get it under an option, pay them 20 grand and say, look, for the next year, this is ours. We're going to work on this together. If I get it rezoned, you agree to sell it to me at this price. If I
Mm.
don't, you get 20 grand, no harm.
Mm.
So when I go to rezone it under Selena, I can go click and say, well, I think they're going to make me do a PD5 or a PD80, whatever that might be, or SFA, and apply that zone and see how the rules change in this exact scenario.
Mm.
So this one is a outdated zone. I would say it's not pulling in strong values, but
Mm.
you get the idea. And then coming down here on the right-hand side, I can define my density requirements, my home model types, width and depth of all those. Next, define my stormwater ponds, define my community open space. What's my requirement? 20%.
Mm.
Okay, great. Half that has to be usable. And then all these values are shown. And then finally, I define where I want my roads to go in. Let's say it's here and here.
Mm.
And then if I click generate, it's going to whip up a site plan. It takes about 2 minutes. So let me jump over to one that's actually already processed. Can you see this one?
Yes, I can.
This is 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how big the site is.
Mm.
But to get this level of estimate, saying, okay, I put in open space, I put in my entry points, I put in the roads, I put in a stormwater pond, I avoided my environmental issues, and I got to 415 lots, which is about 3 units an acre, in a couple minutes. Normally, that is 1 to 5+ weeks going back and forth with your
Yeah.
engineering firm, spending thousands of dollars trying to get to this initial estimate.
Mm. Okay.
So,
Uh, right. So we can stop screen sharing if you like. I said 30 minutes, and I did also say sometimes we go longer. So there we go. I mean, when it's as cool as this, let's not stop kind of thing. But let me ask you this. So how does pricing work, Oliver?
we price geographically, and so that makes the platform accessible to anyone. So I operate in the northern half of Dallas. Great, here's the scope. Or I operate across 6 states. Great, no problem either.
Mm.
Um, Once you're in there, unlimited users. So as long as they have the same email domain, the same firm, then you can
Mm.
have 5 or 50 people in there and you get full access based on tier. So you choose your area, you choose one of your 3 tiers: pro, cheap one, expert in the middle, enterprise, white glove, everything.
And onboarding. What have you experienced with that? How long does it take? I mean, not your mother, but somebody who, somebody else. How long does it take them to get used to using the tool effectively?
Yep. Um, when it comes to the physical onboarding process, we've deployed national home builders in under a month before. It's no problem. When it comes to actually using it and getting mastery of it, we're
Mm.
talking hour and a half, 2 hours of training to get you and your team up to speed. Some of the stuff we have to also bring in your existing projects and customize it for what you need. And then once that training's done, we let you use it for a week. We do another hour, and after that, they're self-sufficient.
What's on the roadmap for the next year for
All
Prophetic?
kinds of fun stuff.
Ah.
All kinds of fun stuff. A lot of things regarding better data. The dev map is a good example, but right now that's just for residential subdivisions. It needs to show where the new multifamilies are. It needs to show where the new Costco's are. So a lot of stuff is going to come from that and showing real market picture, not just the residential picture. And then Search AI has got some major upgrades coming as well. So more to come on that.
Best way for someone to get hold of you. Actually, so now someone's watched the demo. They don't actually need to call you for a demo. But if they wanted to,
Yeah. Um,
what's the best way to do that? I presume the website's got a button that says schedule a demo, right? And actually, it's to be clear, the website address is propheticsoftware.ai.
that's right.
And yes, sure enough, there we've got a demo button. But what's the best way for somebody interested in following up, other than pressing that button that looks like a very easy way of getting going?
Yeah, you can book a demo. You can choose your date and time and everything right on the website. Alternatively, there's a contact button, so you can send us a little note, and then feel free to add me on LinkedIn, Oliver Alexander, or follow our company page there. It's all good for us.
Oliver Alexander, founder and CEO, propheticsoftware.ai. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Adam. Really a pleasure.
All right, that was Oliver Alexander, founder and CEO, propheticsoftware.ai. Oliver, what a pleasure to meet you. Thanks so much for doing that podcast with me. I really enjoyed the conversation. That is an amazing kit, but I was going to say piece of software. It's not software, but an amazing tool that you've put together. It's one of those tools that make me start to think, oh, I should get back into the development business. Right? It's like a serious competitive advantage in terms of finding land and really competing well in this particular industry. It's, you discover something like Prophetic and it kind of gives you ideas to do wacky things like getting back into development. Anyway, thanks for joining me, Oliver. It was a real pleasure. And thank you to dear viewers and listeners. Appreciate you being here. Again, if you didn't actually see that podcast, go to gowercrowd.com. It's definitely worth watching the video. Go to gowercrowd.com, find the podcast show notes page under the podcast menu item there at gowercrowd.com, and you'll see the video. You can also listen to it and stream it there as well if you want. There's a narrative and a narrative summary of what we spoke about on the page, and also Oliver's contact information there as well. And you can also find it on YouTube, actually. And if you do go to YouTube, go ahead, be sure to subscribe to the channel there so you get notifications of new episodes as they come out. Okay, that's all for today's episode. Thanks again, Oliver. Thank you to dear viewers and listeners. And until next time, this is Adam Gower signing off.